Hello. Hello everyone, welcome to GATE Academy Global. So before starting today's session, I would like to have the input as well as concurrence regarding the quality of video as well as audio. And I would request to each one of you try to share this video or the link of this video to max of your colleagues, of your batchmates, maybe your juniors, maybe your seniors. Either they are from mechanical, civil, electrical, chemical, electrical, electronics or instrumentation, because the today's session is going to be equally valuable for all of the important 7 branches. Definitely the computer science and IT I had not been taken care, because specifically in computer science and IT we also have the digital part of the mathematics. So first share this session to max of your relatives or max of your batchmates, juniors, seniors, so that we would be able to proceed further. Good afternoon to all of you. Good afternoon, very warm good afternoon to all of you. As you can see over the digital board, we are going to discuss what could be the pattern of the engineering mathematics question in upcoming GATE, and that had been or that is going to get conducted by IIT KGP. So let me briefly read what are the different points we are going to discuss in this complete video. The plan your subject GATE 2022. Are you ready to face the engineering mathematics all branches? The best thing regarding this video is been I am going to cover all of the important branches. The way the previous year questions has been framed by the IIT KGP, we would also have a thought process which kind of the problems or the which kind of the topic had been focused more by the IIT KGP, and from there I would try to conclude my expert conclusion that which type of topics are going to be more and more important specifically for GATE 2022, because the GATE 2022 again is going to be conducted by IIT KGP, is again going to get conducted by IIT KGP. Yes, so let me move forward. Let me briefly discuss about the history of GATE, which had been conducted by the IIT KGP. So as you can see, the IIT KHARAGPUR, which is going to be the conducting body for GATE 2022. May I know in previous years which are the different years which had been conducted by the IIT KGP? So let me start from very beginning, and that had been 1988. The first time IIT KGP had conducted the GATE examination on 1988, and from 1988 the next time the paper was conducted by the KGP was 1994. How much gap of years we had? The 6 years of the gap we had. 6 years of the gap we had. And after 1994, the next year, when the IIT KGP had got the opportunity to conduct the GATE examination, is been 2000. Again, we had the span of 6 years. 6 years. And after 2000, the next time when the KGP had got the opportunity to conduct the GATE examination is being GATE 2006. Obviously, again, we had the span of 6 years. 6 years. And from 2006 to 2014, now we had the span of 8 years, where again the IIT KGP had got the chance to conduct the GATE examination. Anyways, briefly discuss about the history of the GATE. My dear friend, as you can see in starting 1, 2, 3. 3 number of toggles, there were the span or there were the lapse time of the 6 years. Why so? Because at very beginning only 6 number of IITs were the conducting body for the GATE, which had been towards the southern side IIT Madras, towards the northern side IIT Delhi, similarly towards the eastern side it's IIT Kharagpur, towards the northern side it's the IIT Kanpur, similarly IIT Madras, and last is goes ISC Bangalore, towards the southern side ISC Bangalore. Probably one had got missed, and that was IIT Mumbai. It has been IIT Mumbai. Yes. So at very beginning only 6 number of IITs were the conducting bodies for the GATE, and that is why in each 6 years the IIT KGP was getting its turn. But from 2006 onwards, you can see IIT Roorkee as well as IIT Guwahati has also been introduced within the committee of the GATE Commandancy Committee. Could you understand? And from there onwards, the total 8 number of IITs, just a minute, total 8 number of IITs are, let me switch off the mobile just to see your comments. I made it on. Now from here onwards, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Total 8 number of IITs including ISCs are the conducting bodies which conduct the GATE each year. And that is why Now the turn had been for the 8 years. So from here to here you can see the 6 number of IITs as well as the IICs were the conducting bodies. But from here onwards, the IIT Roorkee as well as IIT Guwahati has also become the participant in the conducting body, and that is why the 8 year lapse time has getting started. Agreed now? So till this point, each and everything must be clear to all of us. And that is why once again, if we'll add 8 in 2014, and that had been the year of 2022, and that had been the current year where the gate is going to get conducted. So the next gate is going to get conducted next year, and that is nothing but the 2022. So obviously, like we can say the next gate conducting body is being IIT KGP, which is going to conduct the gate examination, I would request to each one of you, try to share this session to max of your juniors, max of your seniors, max of your classmates, because this video is going to be almost covering almost all sort of different branches which we have within the gate examination, which starts from civil, goes to chemical, mechanical, production, electrical, electronics, instrumentation. This is not only for the electrical, electronics or instrumentation. We are going to cover all of them. Till this point, I don't find any of the student would have any kind of doubt now. Yes. So let me do one thing. Let me go forward. So the paper analysis which we are going to do now, how many number of branches I am keeping in my mind? The 7 number of branches I am keeping in my mind, which starts from CE, C for civil as well as C for chemical. So obviously we are going to have an intense study of the civil as well as chemical, the way the previous year questions has been designed by the IIT KGP. Obviously in year of 1998, then 1994, 2000, 2006, and then 2014. We would also be talking about the way the question had been experienced by the electronics, electrical, as well as instrumentation people. E for electronics, E for electrical, I for instrumentation. And end of the day, we are also going to focus much over the way the question had been framed by the IIT KGP for the mechanical as well as the production people. And we would also try to extract which kind of the problem we can expect in upcoming examination. Because see, what happens? Whenever you had to take a great decision, whenever you had to plan something, what you do? You do the analysis in past. What are the different ways the person had behaved? What are the different ways the continuously problem had been asked? So obviously the same thing we had been doing. We had been doing the analysis in which way the IIT KGP was planning the question for the engineering mathematics, and from there we would conclude something definitely which would be helping you guys into the great extent. Few of the critical points which I would like to mention over here, it's been officially maths was introduced from 2005 onwards. Probably this had been the year. Most of the students may not be born at this year, but one thing has been quite sure. Officially, the engineering mathematics syllabus was introduced within the GATE syllabus is been at 2005. Probably I was the student. First time I has appeared in GATE examination is been 2006. So what's the conclusion I want to bring out of it? Probably before 2005, you may not be able to see good amount of the question which had been asked from the engineering mathematics. And once you do the analysis now, you will see in year 2000, year 1994, year 1998, very few number of questions has been raised from this particular subject, because as far as the subject is being concerned, the complete subject itself was not there within the GATE syllabus. But still they used to ask little questions, like questions based on the properties followed by the different kinds of the matrix. Similarly, the problems based on the different linear differential equation, problem based on vector calculus, because the vector calculus had been the part of like electronics, electrical, instrumentation people. They had to learn little bit about the vector calculus, specifically in electromagnetic field theory. So what I am saying, the first important point which I would like to mention over here has been the first time engineering mathematics was introduced from 2005 onwards. So you can say the actual question, no, or I would say the standard question of the mathematics have started coming from 2006 onwards. Yes, no. Similarly, 2014 had the multiple session Probably for the electronics we had the 4 number of session, for the electrical we had the 4 number of session, for the mechanical definitely we had the 4 number of session, for production we had the 1 session, for the instrumentation we had the 1 session. So what I am going to do, I am not going to analyze the complete year. I would be focusing more over the 2014. May I know what had been the reason behind it? The two reasons. First, this has been the recent most year at which the IIT KGP had conducted the GATE examination. That's the first thing. And in compare with the 2006, 2000, 1994, 1988, here we are going to have the more number of problem, because for the same stream, probably 3 to 4 number of sessions we had. So obviously, the number of questions which had been experienced in this year has been much more. Did you understand what I am saying? And I think it is not right to analyze much about 2000, 1994 and 1988, because officially the syllabus of the engineering mathematics was not the part of GATE syllabus at all. If you have any time, you just type the syllabus 2004 GATE, either of the branch, mechanical, civil, electrical, electronics, instrumentation, you'll get to know the syllabus itself was not there. Till this point, each and everything must be clear to all of us. Satish Kalyan. Good evening, Sonal. Good evening, dear. Good evening. So till this point, each and everything is clear now. Anyways, many of the students had joined late. So let me briefly discuss what I had discussed so far. My basic agenda behind today's session is to discuss what could be our preparation, methodology specifically for the engineering mathematics. The second doubt do come in a mind, sir, which are the different branches you are going to cover in today's session? Almost all 7 branches I am going to cover in today's session, which starts from C for chemical, C for civil, E for electrical, E for electronics, I for instrumentation, M for mechanical, and P for production. So if you had been from either of these 7 branches, definitely today's session is going to be utterly useful for you guys. In the same sequence, I was discussing about the history of the paper when it was designed by the IIT KGP. First time the paper was designed by the IIT KGP was on 1988, plus of 6, that's been at 1994, then 2000, then 2006, and then gonna be 2014. You can see the difference between the years is being 6, because only 6 conducting bodies we had at very beginning. Now, afterwards, after 2014 onwards, the IIT Roorkee as well as IIT Guwahati has also started participating towards the manufacturing the paper of the GATE, and that is why now you can see from 2006 onwards, the difference of the years is being 8, and that is why 2014 plus of 8, 2022 is again gonna be the year at which the IIT KGP is going to design the paper for you guys. Could you understand what I'm saying? In the same sequence, let me move forward. As I said, the 7 number of branches we are going to cover, that's been civil, chemical, electronics, electrical, instrumentation, mechanical, and PI. Officially, the maths was introduced from 2005 onwards. So once you will pick up the previous year questions, you will see rare questions are being asked from mathematics, that is year of 2004, 2003. It's not like the question was not at all asked. The questions which were asked were the light questions, because in syllabus, maths was not written. So they can't ask the specific questions from the mathematics. So they usually ask the question like finding the rank of the matrix, similarly finding a certain integration. Similarly, they may ask few number of problems based on the properties which had been followed by the different matrix. Now, at the same time, we are going to do the analysis for the paper 2014 only. Why? Because the 2 or 3 years which we have now, here the GATE mathematics were not there. Even in GATE 2006, very rare number of questions were asked. So we are doing the complete analysis for the paper, the way the question had been framed in year of GATE 2014, and from there we are going to extract few of the conclusion. तंजीम खानम सर, क्या आप लीस्ट ले सकते हो क्या इंजीनियरिंग मैथमेटिक्स ऑन यूट्यूब? Probably yes, I may. Because already a complete playlist is been there. You can follow that playlist also, so you will get to know that at least on GATE Academy Global, I had been taking the classes for the engineering mathematics. This had been the conclusion. Anyways, we would come to this conclusion at very last. Before coming into this conclusion, let me show you the way the question had been framed for the year of 2014 by the IIT KGP. This would be the conclusion. And from this conclusion, I would try to emphasize which are the different topics where you guys have to focus more, and which are the topics where you can put a lesser amount of effort. But still, I would say you had to study each and everything, but focus matters, my dear friend. Like we take a photograph, if you had been taking a photograph of certain, let's take model, and if everything is been in focus, or rather his face, definitely that picture would not be successful at any case. So the focus do matter. Yes, no? Okay. So let me do one thing. Let me go back and let me see the different kind of the questions is being framed by IIT KGP. So here goes the PPT. Here goes the mathematics. See, we start with 1988. Only one question were asked, and that had been the basic properties of the probability. Now, many of the students may think, sir, how only one question were asked? My dear friend, because in that era, the mathematics was not the part of the syllabus itself. So nothing can be concluded. Nobody should conclude that, sir, specifically in 1988 only one question were asked, and that too for the electronics. So probably mathematics may not be that important if the question paper is being designed by the IIT KGP. No, that should not be in your mind. One of the important conclusion we can extract out of it's being, in that time the engineering mathematics was not the part of syllabus at all. Yes. Now let me go behind. See, rather focusing over 1994, rather focusing over 2000, 2006, straight away let me go to the 2014, because the way they had been designing the questions in 2000 as well as 2006 is more or less is being very same as it had been in year of 2014. Let me go down. Let me see where the year of 2014 starts. Just a minute. Let me go down. If you guys are able to see from where the 2014 is been starting, you can take the reference of that also. You can take the reference, just a minute. We have somewhere from here only it's been starting. Yeah, somewhere from here, I think. Yeah, 2014 starts from here. Now the first question of the 2014 obviously is being experienced by the electronics people. Again and again I have been repeating. For the electronics we had the 4 number of session. For the electrical we had the 4 number of session. For instrumentation we had only one session. For the mechanical we had the 4 number of session. For the civil we had the 4 number of session. For the production only one session we had. So what we are going to do, we are just going to analyze the paper, the way the question had been framed by the IIT KGP, and we would try to extract few of the important conclusion. Let me read the first question first. The problem states, for matrices of same dimension M and N, scalar C, which one of these properties does not always hold? Anyways, this particular video has not meant for solving any kind of problem. If you guys feel that I should be solving all of the problem which had been experienced by the IIT KGP, I would take the separate session for that. But one thing has been quite sure, if you'll focus over the first question were based on the properties of the matrix, which M had been the matrix, N had been the matrix, and C had been a scalar quantity. Yes, in the same sequence, if we'll focus over the question number 131, a real matrix A satisfies A square is equals to of I, where I is the 4 cross 4 identity matrix, the positive eigenvalues of A. Could you really notice in starting 2 questions, they were focused on which particular topic? They had been focusing more over the properties followed by the different kind of the matrix. Either it could be a column matrix, it could be a row matrix, it could be a square matrix, it could be a Hermitian matrix, skew Hermitian matrix, symmetric matrix, skew symmetric matrix, identity matrix, singular matrix. So what I am saying, at least in starting two question, we got to know one of the important fact. They had been specifically targeting more over the properties followed by the different kind of matrix, and you can expect the same thing this year also. So what I would say, the third around 15 to 16 different kinds of the matrix we have now. You can refer our book also. So you should also have a little bit idea what are the different properties are getting followed by the different matrix. Like in symmetric matrix, skew symmetric matrix, what's gonna be the kind of their eigenvalues as well as eigenvectors. Those kind of thing should also be there within your mind, because I have seen many of the times student what they do, they would just have a little bit idea about the different kinds of the matrix, but the properties followed by the different kinds of the matrix they do not remember. So I would say, the way IIT KGP had designed the problem, you should also remember the type of properties they had been following. Not only that, even the question number 132 is also been based on the same concept, and that had been the properties followed by the different kinds of the matrix. 132. Even if you'll go down, see what the 133 states. The determinant of the matrix A is being 5 and the determinant of the matrix B is 40. Then the determinant of a new matrix which had been fabricated by the multiplication of A and B, what would be the worth of it? That simply becomes the multiplication between 5 and 40. Obviously the result which we are going to get, it's been 200. But again, the same thing which I was murmuring at very initial phase, until and unless you do not know the properties followed by the matrix determinant or the multiplication of the matrix determinant, probably you may not be able to crack this problem out. So you can see the way starting 1, 2, 3, 4 number of questions were designed. No, they had been based on the concept of the different properties followed by the matrix. Different properties followed by the matrix. Yes. And at the same time, even not only that, which one of the following statement is not true for a state matrix? A is a upper triangular, the eigenvalues of A. Again, what I am saying, they had given only one information, that the given matrix is being a square matrix, and now they wants to ask one thing from you, whether do you really know what are the different properties are being followed by a square matrix or not. Obviously they had taken the different reference of the square matrix, upper triangular matrix, real symmetric matrix, but still I would say the first important thing which must come in our mind, it's been the first point which must come in our mind, it's been, so I think it's right time to write the specific point from where the questions may get raised in continuous manner, and that's gonna be the properties. You can write over your copies, properties followed by different kinds of matrices. Different kinds of matrices. That's the first important point which I would say is been the important one. Now in the same sequence, if we'll go down, see, this sort of problem you must have seen many of the times, where we had been talking about the linear equation of inhomogeneous form, and there we would be talking about the different kinds of the solution. Again, the problem had come from this particular zone, given a system of equation, the 3 number of variables we had, the 2 number of linear inhomogeneous equation we had, and they had been talking about the different kinds of the system. So this sort of problem do come repeatedly, either it's been IIT KGP, either it's been the IIT Madras, either it's been IIT Delhi. This sort of problem used to come again and again. So I would say specifically in matrix, nobody should forget or nobody should leave this particular zone of the problem where we talk about the different types of linear equation as well as its system or as well as its solution. Either it's been the linear homogeneous form or whether it's been the linear inhomogeneous form. Now, the question number 138, a system matrix is given as follow. The absolute value of the ratio of the maximum eigenvalue. They had been talking about the eigenvalues as well as maximum eigenvalue as well as minimum eigenvalue. Anyways, the properties which had been followed by any of the eigenvalues which had been extracted from the square matrix, the multiplication used to be same as the determinant. That's the first thing. And similarly, if we'll talk about if we talk about the complete addition of the lambdas or the additions of the eigenvalues, that used to be the traces of the matrix itself. So what I am saying, this problem is almost more or less based on the concept of the properties followed by the eigenvalues for the given square matrix. Again, see, which of the following statement is true for all of the symmetric matrix. So what I'm saying, they had been focusing more over the properties followed by the different kind of the matrix, which could be symmetric, which could be antisymmetric, which could be square matrix, which could be a Hermitian, skew Hermitian. So that is why again and again I had been repeating, this has been an important area of concern. Yes. This has been the important area of concern. I have specifically seen the rest of the IITs, they do not much focus over the properties, because the properties are the thing which has to be by hearted, because at very specific time you may not be able to conclude, of you cannot be able to derive the important properties which had been followed by the different matrix. You had to remember it, and that is why I am saying you have to focus more over the properties followed by the different kinds of the matrix. Now, in the same sequence, the two matrix A and B had been given. If the rank of A is been n, then the rank of the matrix is B. So what I am saying, they had been talking about the rank. Anyways, the rank had been a piece of cake. I would say the student who had a little bit idea about the matrices, they know how to calculate the rank. Even in class 11th and 12th also, we had calculated the rank. No, so probably at this moment, you guys would not have any kind of doubt. I think in the same sequence, let me move forward. Here they had been talking about, given the determinant of the matrix is minus 12, the determinant of this. So what they had been doing, the simplest form of the shifting elementary operation they had followed. So what we had to do over here, we had to shift few number of rows as well as we had to swap few number of columns. Once we do so, we would get this matrix out of this. So definitely we can get the exact result out of it. So I won't say this has been the tougher problem or the tougher side of the problem, because this sort of problem may come at any moment of time, and you guys would be able to easily deal this problem. Again, they had been focusing over the eigenvalues, eigenvector. This problem had been based on the concept of eigenvector. Next, consider 3 cross 3 real symmetric matrix such that the two of the eigenvalues being this, then x1, y1 plus of x2, y2. My dear friend, again I am saying they had been focusing more over the properties side of the eigenvalues as well as eigenvectors. And I had been seeing this from the past 5 to 6 years. Forget about the IIT, KGP and all. Most of the IITs know they are focusing more over the important properties followed by the eigenvalues as well as eigenvectors. Because we guys are probably now more than comfortable finding the eigenvalues and its corresponding eigenvectors. But most of the students do not exactly know why the eigenvalues is being calculated and why the eigenvectors is being calculated, and that is why they focus more over the important properties followed by the eigenvalues as well as eigenvector. I would request to each one of you, one of the best video on our YouTube channel, definitely you should refer my videos on eigenvalues as well as eigenvectors. There the practical aspects of the eigenvalues and eigenvectors being discussed. So I would write the next important point. I think the next important point could be eigenvalues and eigenvectors. Eigenvalues and vectors. Values and vectors. And specifically its properties. There are good amount of questions can be framed over the properties, specifically eigenvectors. Did you understand what I'm saying? I think it's right time to move forward. This problem had been based on the concept of the identity. So the student who had a little bit idea about the identity, they must be able to answer it. Well, tell me, which one of the following equation is a identity for the arbitrary 3 cross 3 real matrix P, Q and R? May I know which could be the correct answer for this given problem? It's been the simplest form of the problem. May I know whether the option A has been the correct option or the wrong option? Option A has been the wrong option, because matrix do not follow the commutative law during multiplication. Like you had a matrix A and B, and let's take the A, B prevails, but it is not ensured that the B, A would prevail and it would have the same result. And now you yourself would be able to understand the P got multiplied with Q, and while having the same order, the P would come towards left hand side, Q would come towards right hand side, and that had been happening. And now here a mistake had been done over the expression. They have fed the P towards right hand side, whereas the R had been kept towards the left hand side. So say A had been the wrong option. Similarly, if we'll focus over the option B, This has not been the identity which we used to study, like a minus b, which has been raised to the power of 2, where the a and b used to be the number, my dear friend. Here the p and q had been the matrix. So again the same process has to be followed. P minus q has to get multiplied with p minus q, and here the multiplication has to be done in order or in sequence. The p gets multiplied with p, that's gonna be p square. P gets multiplied with q, that's gonna be minus of pq. P would come towards left hand side and q would come towards right hand side, and here it goes minus of qp. You can't write this as a pq, and similarly last never the least, it's simply gonna be minus of q square. Obviously b is also a wrong option. B is also a wrong option. Now similarly, if we'll talk about d, p plus q, which has been raised to the power of 2, is equals to of p square plus of pq plus of qp plus of q square, is gonna be the right answer. C is again gonna be a wrong option. My dear friend, rather addition, if the multiplication must have been there somewhere here, no, where the p as well as q is been a square matrix. In that case, the matrix multiplication between p and q would result the same determinant as the determinant of the individual matrix. Determinant of the individual matrix. Did you really understood what had been the crux behind this? So again, this had been almost, I can say, usually we used to study in class 11th and 12th. They had been talking about the sum of the eigenvalues that would be very same as the sum of all of the elements in their principal diagonal elements. The determinant. I won't say this sort of problem is required to be prepared at all. No, it's not required. It can be asked at any moment of time, and you guys must be able to properly answer it. Which one of the following statement is true? Matrix only for the real eigenvalues. What I'm saying, that's what I'm saying. No, I don't know why they had been doing so, but they had been more and more cautious about this particular two subtopics. More and more cautious about this two subtopics. Even we have gone into the civil, we have started with the electronics, but still the way they had been designing the question, no, had been almost same. Yes. Now for the equation A satisfies the equation which below the eigenvalues are. They had been focusing over the eigenvalues and as well as eigenvectors. Now they had been talking about the different kinds of the solution we would have for this given linear non-homogeneous form of the equation. So that's what I'm saying. More or less in matrices, no, they had been focused over the properties most of the time, I would say, eigenvalues and eigenvectors, and more or less they had been focused over the linear form of the equation. Just a minute. Linear form of the equation, and specifically non-homogeneous form. Linear equation, homogeneous and non-homogeneous. Non-homogeneous. Till this point, I don't find any of these students would have any kind of doubt now. And now you guys may ask a little bit doubt if you guys are having it in your mind. No issue. Because I want to have this session as a two-way communication, so that if you guys are having any kind of doubt, no, you can put it over the live chat. I would be able to replying that. Yes, sir? So let me move forward. And from here onwards, you must be able to see they had started the differential equation. From here onwards, they had started the differential equation. Obviously, this has been the second order linear differential equation. And similarly, if we'll go forward, which one of the following is linear non-homogeneous differential equation where x and y are the independent? So again, they had been focusing more over the type of non-homogeneous equation. May I know what does that mean by the homogeneous as well as the non-homogeneous equation? The homogeneous equation is the equation where the external input is being 0, only and only internal energy storing element drives the system. And whereas non-homogeneous system is being the system where the external input is being applied. So may I know what would be the answer for this given problem? Integration and correlation important. I would talk about that also. Tell me what's gonna be the best most answer. The simplest form of the problem it's been. My dear friend, one thing has been quite sure. Which one of the following is a linear? The type of differential equation has to be a linear in nature. So type of the differential equation which had been in first order must be dy by of dx plus of p, which must be the strictly function of x alone. Here goes y, and similarly q, which had been a strict function of the x alone. Then only is going to be the linear form of the differential equation. linear form of the differential equation that we had seen as a form of Leibniz linear differential equation. You want to keep this linear differential equation as a homogeneous. In that case, the value of qx has to be 0. And if you want to keep this equation as a non-homogeneous, the value of qx has to be non-zero. Qx has to be non-zero. In this particular question, they had been asking to keep the given differential equation a non-homogeneous. So obviously, what I am going to do, we are going to select the differential form of the equation alone. Linear. A, C has not been a linear equation at all. D has not been the linear equation at all. B has been the linear equation, but this has been the non-homogeneous form, and this has been the homogeneous form. This has been the homogeneous form. So A had been the best most answer. A had been the best most answer. Yes. In this particular problem, three number of variables they had, and they had been talking that out of the four different partial differential equation, which partial differential equation is going to satisfy this function. What I am saying, many of the time the student says, sir, whether we had to learn much about the partial differential equation, my answer would be no. Just have a practice of the previous year questions, the way the question had been framed from this particular segment. And most of the time the question do come from the different structures like circle, and similarly ellipse. This sort of problem do come specifically for the mechanical as well as civil. So I would say do not focus much over the partial form of the differential equation. Just have a practice of 2 or 3 number of questions. How do we handle the problem related to the partial differential equation? And what I would say, if you had a little bit idea, no, probably you would be able to smash this problem out. You would be able to smash this problem out. Yes, no? Again, it's a second order linear differential equation, second order linear differential equation, and I would bet probably this would be the most important questions which would be asked by most of the people, and that's nothing but the Cauchy's form of, I may write this as a first, Cauchy's form of linear differential equation. Cauchy's form of linear differential equation. I will put a bet on this. Probably most of the streams are going to experience this particular domain, Cauchy's form of the linear differential equation. Probably you must have seen this kind of the problem, like x square d square y by of dx square, maybe 2 times of x times of dy by dx, x times of dy by dx, and similarly you may also have 3 times of y is equals to maybe 0. This kind of the problem is being a very important kind of the problem, specifically for the IIT KGP. So I would suggest to all of us, focus more over this topic, and this has been the Cauchy's form of the linear differential equation. Yes. Let me go forward. The same thing. Differential equation is being given in a form of. So what I have seen, at least specifically in differential equation, the way the question had been designed, no, it had been utterly easy. And specifically for the mechanical and civil, they are going to design few of the word-based problem from the differential equation also. But you need not to do much of the thunderbirds. You just have to focus over the type of differential equation is getting framed within the problem. You had to pick that differential equation, and then you had to take that solution. End of the day, you would be able to get its answer. Yes, no? Yes. Here also, they had designed a word-based problem based on the concept of differential equation. See, in integration, no, what I see in integration, no, the way the question had been framed for the mechanical and civil specifically, I have seen mechanical, civil, including obviously production. Mechanical, civil, specifically their production. They are focusing over the varieties of the integration. So I would say, specifically from these 3 branches, no, they had to cover almost all varieties of the integration which had been asked so far. Either it's been the contour integration through which I calculate the curve length, The question do come from this segment repeatedly. I have seen specifically for the civil and mechanical. Curve length. This has been the important point. Even the volume created by a certain contour taking the reference of x-axis or y-axis. Volume calculation. Volume calculation. I have seen specifically for the mechanical, civil and production, this segment had been more important. Yes. And at the same time, they also focus over the double integration, and there they talk about the change in order of integration. Change in order of integration. Order of integration. Order of integration. So I would say for the mechanical, mechanical, civil and production, they had to focus over this type of integration more. And as far as the electrical electronics and instrumentation is being concerned, no, they had to focus more over the different kind of the definite integral. Definite integral. Like the integration of sin x from 0 to pi by 2, this and that. And keep in mind, proper and improper form both. Proper and improper form both. And it had been seen recently, they focus more over the improper form of the integration. If you want, I can give an example. They are like asking 1 upon x dx, where the x goes from 1 to infinity. What would be its resultant? They are going to give probably 2 to 3 number of numbers, and end of the day they may also call it the resultant would be divergent. So what I'm saying, the type of improper form of the definite integral, no, had been more important for all of the branches. Had been more important for all of the branches. I repeat, for the electrical, electronics, mechanical, civil, for all of the people, this kind of the problem is being asked repeatedly. It's been asked repeatedly. So this has been the integral calculus. Integral calculus, this has been the based on properties based, where we can use the properties like integration from a to b fx dx is equals to of integration from a to b f of a plus b minus x dx. This sort of problem is being asked repeatedly. This has been the simplest form of the double integration. Yes. Electrical, electronics, instrumentation people, at least have one idea. You are going to get at least, the word has been at least, no? At least one question. At least one question from vector calculus, and probably I would say for the electrical, electronics and instrumentation, you are going to get the 2 questions from this topic alone. Although it's not been the topic, the vector calculus comes under the calculus, but still it had been a so much important topic for you guys. So much important topic for you guys. Sir, improper form of the integral, that's what I'm saying. The DS, it's a very, very important topic. It's a very, very important topic. If you had not gone through this now, you can take the reference of my playlist, which is already been there on our GATE Academy Global channel. Yes, no? At least from the vector calculus. The 2 question we are expected to get, and that's been 1 for 1 mark and similarly 1 for 2 marks. This year it had happened with the electrical as well as electronics as well as instrumentation. So you can expect this is going to happen with the 2022 also. Why it had been happened so? Because the complete electromagnetic field theory is being based on the concept of vector calculus. So that is why they focus more over this topic specifically for three branches. And the amount of questions or the quality of the questions which are going to get asked for the 3 branches, no, they are going to be really difficult question. They are going to be really difficult question. But for the mechanical, civil, mechanical, civil, production, only simple form of the problems they are going to ask. They may ask the divergence for a certain vector quantity. They may ask directional derivative, or which is also called a what? Gradient of a certain scalar quantity for a given scalar function at a certain point. So what I'm saying, for the mechanical, civil and production, it would be just merely a piece of cake. But for the electrical, electronics and instrumentation, really they had to put a lot of effort on this topic. Otherwise, they may lose probably 1 question. They are going to lose probably 1 question, and that had been seen probably year by year. This had been the situation. This had been the situation. Yes, no? See, such an intense question had been coming from the vector calculus. Yes, no, till this point, I don't find any of the student would have any kind of doubt now. One of the important most point, and I think it's right time to focus on the conclusion which we have extracted for you guys. Just a minute, where did I go? Here we had, just a minute. Maths. Yes, the conclusion I think you should write somewhere. For me, the most important topic for specifically the question paper which would be designed by the KGP is going to be calculus, and the most important point or most important subtopic within the calculus is going to be differential as well as integral calculus. And specifically for the electronics people, I would include one more important point, and that had been vector calculus. I would say the most important topic within the mathematics, specifically for EE, EC as well as IN. And similarly within the integral calculus, they are going to ask the simple questions based on the concept of definite, proper or maybe improper form of the integral. But in differential calculus, they are focusing more over the concept of maxima and minima. Keep in mind, in maxima and minima, basically now they are asking the concept of maxima and minima based on the two independent variable functions. So I would say, in compare with the one independent variable function, the two independent variable function had been more important. You can expect 3 to 4 marks from this particular topic. You can expect 3 to 4 marks for this particular topic. Probability and random variable. My dear friend, for the electrical and electronics people, again the random variable had been more important. Electrical and electronics people. And probably for the electronics people, the weightage from this topic would lie somewhere 4 marks, and for the rest of the branches, which includes CE, civil, CH, chemical, ME, mechanical, PI, production, somewhere 2 to 3 marks they are going to get from this topic. Probably one question is going to be a word problem. There the word problem would be given like rolling a die, tossing a coin, and they may ask the probability for occurrence of a certain event. That one question might be the word problem, and the second question might be the problem from the different type of distribution. So the two number of questions are expected for the mechanical, civil, production as well as chemical, but specifically for the electrical and electronics, I would say somewhere it would go to the 4 marks, somewhere it would go to the 5 marks. Now in the same sequence, if we'll talk about the linear algebra, again I say only one question is being expected, and probably that question is going to come from the properties followed by the different matrix. And yes, it could be anywhere in between 2 to 3 marks. I would say 2 marks only. Differential equation, definitely one question is going to come. Nobody can say in my paper, I did not have the problem related to the differential equation. I did not have the problem related to the linear algebra. I did not have the problem related to the word-based problem. It would be there. I can assure you it would be there. I can have my all experience and I can say neither of the paper had come where this 3 topic had been the conversation. Agreed on what I'm saying? It would be there. There is no doubt as such. Similarly, if we'll talk about the complex variable, my dear friend, for the electrical, electronics, it had been utterly important topic. And this has not been the topic within the civil engineering, and that is why I say in civil engineering they used to focus the same marks over the transform as well as series theory. Probably you can expect 1 to 2 marks transform theory, because this is not been in the syllabus of civil engineering. Yes. Last, numerical method. Obviously, it would be important for all of the branches, excluding electrical as well as electronics. Keep in mind, since 2 years, this particular topic had been removed for the electrical as well as electronics people. So you can expect no question is going to get raised from this particular topic. Conclusion is being calculus, electrical, electronics people focus more over the vector calculus. Similarly, all of the branch people focus more over the maxima and minima, 1 as well as 2 variable both. Focus over the improper form of the definite integral, because the questions are being repeatedly asked from that particular zone. For the civil, mechanical, production and chemical, they had been focusing over the off-track integrations, like the integration of the volume because of a rotation of a certain curve taking the reference of x-axis, y-axis, maybe the curve length. They had been asking, or they had been framing more question over that particular domain. Similarly, if we'll focus over the probability random variable, I would say 3 questions are being expected for the electrical electronics instrumentation, and 2 questions are being expected for the mechanical, civil and rest of the branches. Linear algebra, 1 question, probably properties based, or maybe from the eigenvalues, eigenvector. Differential equation, probably 1 question, linear form of the differential equation. Probably, not probably, exactly 1 question is going to come from this topic if you are from either of the branch. Otherwise, for the civil, they are not going to get any of that. Numerical method has not been in the syllabus for the electrical as well as electronics, so forget about it. Transform theory would be the last one. Transform theory would be the last one. So I would like to have the input from each one of you. If you guys are having any kind of doubt, you can ask from me. Otherwise, we would end up our session. Tell me if any kind of doubt you guys are having. Otherwise, we would end up our session. Let me see your comments now. Transform for civil, yes, my dear. Transform, Laplace transform is expected for the civil also. Yes, because once in a while the question had come from that particular domain. So for the mechanical and civil, it is being expected. Regression and correlation. I would say the regression and correlation you should learn as a part of signal system, because if you really want to learn this concept over the mathematics, no, it becomes very difficult. Yes, for the electrical electronics, specifically electronics, regression, correlation, autocorrelation, cross correlation had been an important point or important concept, and you must have a little bit idea about that particular concept. So I would request to learn that concept within the signal system, because it had been more connected to the signal system rather mathematics. Tell me, anyone else? DS sir, please share the question PDF. I will try. Probably I may put into the Telegram group. So probably you must be aware of my Telegram group, no? So let me write somewhere. The Telegram group we had. Sonal Agarwal sir, you can type. Otherwise, no, Maurya. That's what I am saying. Once the question had come from this particular topic also. So I think, see what I'll do. The transform theory specifically, once they had asked the question, what they had a differential equation, and with the help of Laplace transformation, you had to solve that given differential form of the equation. Once it had come. Probably, yeah, once it had come. I may not be remember it, but yeah, 4 to 5 years back it had come. No issue. So you can write somewhere. It's been A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, DF. This has been my Telegram channel link. You can just follow it. We'll try to post that PDF there itself. Okay, then all the very best for your preparation. Hope so you guys are doing extremely well. And from the probability, from the mathematics, I would say, if you are really preparing well, no, out of 13 marks, yeah, this had been my Telegram. Out of 13 marks, definitely you are going to get around 10 to 11 marks. There is no doubt as such. Okay, Maurya Manish, you can have a reference once. But if the question had not been repeatedly asked, you can forget about the Laplace transformation. But still, you should have a little bit important properties within your mind. Is this clear to all of us? So I think it's right time to move on, and I would expect you guys are putting the complete effort towards your preparation. And yes, mathematics had been a subject, whether a tougher question is being designed from this particular segment, whether the easier question had been framed from the mathematics, still I would say you would be able to extract approximately 90% marks at any cost. Such an easy subject it had been. So this is all about the today's session. We would meet with the next session. Till then, bye bye. Take care.